Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Unplugged and Uncut, the new source for sports news and entertainment. And today we got a wild show ahead. That is right. We got a draft day blockbuster trade proposal between the Atlanta Hawks, Detroit Pistons, and the San Antonio Spurs. But before I get started, if you have not taken the time to hit that subscribe button, make sure you do. It is free. And not to mention that, we're giving away a PlayStation 5 Disc Edition with the game of your choice once we hit 100,000 subscribers. All you got to do to be entered to win is leave comments in the comment section and be an active subscriber. That is it. But without further ado, let's get into this blockbuster trade proposal between the Atlanta Hawks, Detroit Pistons, and the San Antonio Spurs we're predicting for draft day. That is right. So we're going to start with the Atlanta Hawks here. The Atlanta Hawks have been rumored to be interested in Jeremy Grant from the Detroit Pistons and also interested in moving off of John Collins. Now, the Pistons might, and I'm pretty sure do have some interest in moving off of Jeremy Grant, but do they want John Collins in that 4-year contract? Well, it was 5 years, but now it'll be 4 years going forward. So that's a good question. So that's why the Pistons pick up the phone and say, hey, San Antonio, you want to help us out? And how we get to this 3-team trade. So the trade looks a little something like this. The Atlanta Hawks are going to receive Jeremy Grant and the 25th pick from the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs are going to receive John Collins, the 16th pick. The Detroit Pistons are going to receive Jakob Poeltl, Lonnie Walker sign and trade, and Doug McBuckets or Josh Richardson. Now, Doug McBuckets, if you want the three-point specialist, Jay Richardson, if you want that expiring contract and a 3-and-D type player. Josh Richardson's going to bring you excellent defense and is a three-point threat, shoots over 42% for his career. And Doug McBuckets, well, that's what he do, is get you buckets. Now let's look at why the Atlanta Hawks say yes. So the Atlanta Hawks say yes because they're replacing John Collins and his $23 million contract with Jeremy Grant, who they've been rumored to be interested in. So that's why they're saying yes. They've had some issues, it seems, to where they've tried to come off of John Collins' contract. They didn't even know if they wanted to extend them to the amount they extended them for. So this gives them a chance to regroup off of that. Now, Jeremy Grant does fit in nicely there with the Hawks, and the Hawks still have a lot of players to work with. So you got Gallinari, Clint Capella. That's probably why they wouldn't want Jakob Poeltl, because they already got Clint Capella there. Bogdanovich, Trey Young, of course, Hunter. Kevin Knox, we won't really mention. He's a restricted free agent. Lou Williams, not worried about his contract. But Kevin Huerter. And then there's a player, guys, that I think would really benefit from John Collins being shipped off as well. That can play small forward or power forward, kind of like Jeremy Grant. And that is Jalen Johnson out of Duke. This is a nice, sweet shooting forward. Can play the small forward or power forward. He stands at 6'9". And watch out, he could have a big second year. So that's why the Atlanta Hawks say yes. They're basically moving John Collins' $23 million contract for the next 4+ years, if you want to count the rest of this year, for Jeremy Grant, the player they've been interested in. Now let's see why the Detroit Pistons might say yes. Well, the Detroit Pistons might say yes because they pick 5th. And all the bigs in the draft might be off the board, meaning the best player they have available is Keegan Murray, power forward. Now, Keegan Murray would pair perfectly with a center like Jakob Poeltl and a point guard like Cade Cunningham. Not to mention Sadiq Bey. Oh my, and Diallo. That defense is starting to look really, really good. Jakob Poeltl was the #2 rated defender in the whole NBA last year. That is right, he was the #2 defensive center in the league. You pair that with Keegan Murray, who's a versatile defender at the power forward or small forward with Sadiq Bey and Cade Cunningham. And you got 4 players right there that are going to be able to hold their own at their position. Not to mention Diallo, who I think would start, unless you want to start Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker would probably be the worst defender on the court, but he's actually a good defender as well, meaning you have a really solid defensive young core to build around. So that's why the Pistons might say yes. It's really going based off of the draft and how it lays out. Now, if a player like Chet Holmgren falls to them at 5, this trade's already called off. It's over. But if they're sitting there at the 5th pick and the best player available in their mind is Keegan Murray, this trade makes a whole lot of sense. And then they are able to move Jeremy Grant, who they've been reportedly trying to move. Now let's see why the Spurs might say yes. So the reason the Spurs might say yes is John Collins, even though he's making $23 million for 4 more years, he kind of fits with the Spurs' need, a position of need, a power forward. Not only that, if the Spurs stick with the 9th pick, why not pick up Jalen Duren? Now you got John Collins and Jalen Duren as your center power forward combination. John Collins can hit from all over the court, 3-point range, 2-point range, inside game. Jalen Duren is good near the basket and up to 10 to 15 feet with his face-up jump shot. Those two would pair perfectly together. Not to mention, the Spurs would have the 16th pick. So you'd have a chance to go after a player who might have failed. So let me slide over to my draft board real quickly. And I have NBA.net loaded up, guys. And with NBA DraftNet, sorry about that. They actually have Jeremy Schoen falling. So that 16th pick could become very valuable for the Spurs, and they might be able to get a player like Jeremy Schoen, who might have fell down in the draft a little bit. So I'll put these mock drafts up that NBADraft.net has so you can see where the players are falling. And you could pick a player that you think might fit the Spurs. You know what I mean? And you can lay that in the comments and see who you would pick with that 16th pick. Now, I didn't go over who the Hawks might choose with the 25th pick. For the 25th pick, I actually would have the Hawks take a player like Kendall Brown from Baylor. 6'7", small forward, power forward clone. And he could actually back up Hunter, my bad. Not Kevin Huerter, the 3-point shooter. Hunter, the defensive specialist, and he'd be a good player to bring off the bench. A young player who can handle the ball, could play small forward or power forward. We'll probably want to keep him in that small forward position, though, being 6'7". So that's where I would play him. And that would be my 25th pick. And with the 16th pick, I would have the Spurs take Jeremy Schoen, who on this mock draft is falling down to the 19th spot. So that's why the Spurs might say yes, guys. They get to move up from the 25th to the 16th pick. John Collins, he actually fills a position of need for the Spurs. And if you think about it, that 4-year contract will come off the books when it's time to sign or re-sign Jalen Duren, John Collins. And if I'm the GM, Jaden Hardy and Leonard Miller. Those are the other players I'd pick up. That's right, we pick up Jalen Hardy, Leonard Miller, put those guys on the bench. Romeo Langford, KBD, Joe Wieskamp, Devontae Kaycock would all be fighting for 2-way contracts in that last spot, because I would also offer a contract if I was the Spurs to Otto Porter, just to help complete this team. It would look a little something like this. DeJounte Murray, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, John Collins, Jalen Duren starting. Off the bench, Trey Jones. And you might not have Jay Richardson. You might have Doug McBucket, so I won't list that one. Josh Primo, Jeremy Schuin, Zach Collins, Jacques Lindell, Otto Porter, Jalen Hardy, Leonard Miller. That would be my squad moving next year if this trade was going through. So all three teams have some options here, and it could help all three teams accomplish their goals. The Hawks trying to move off of John Collins. The Spurs looking for a power forward. The Pistons getting an excellent defensive center. A young rising talent like Lonnie Walker to pair with their young core, not to mention drafting Keegan Murray. So I think it helps all teams out, guys. I can't wait to see the comments in the comment section. It always gets interesting to see what other teams and other fans and what they might put in the comments. It gets explosive sometimes, y'all, so it's gonna be fun. I got my popcorn in the microwave. I'm gonna go pull it out. But for now, your boy is out. I can't wait to read the comments. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace.